Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina and I'm going to be talking to you today about something very interesting. This week I made a comment on my social media about an event space that I opened up in 2019, and I got a lot of messages and a lot of comments on how I was able to open up an event space in the busy state of New York. I was actually in Long Island, New York when I did this, and it was the best time of my life. So I decided to make a YouTube video to help out those instead of answering individual questions. And I'm going to actually answer some questions too in a separate video, like the really common questions about how to open up an event space. So stay tuned for that. But if you're watching, just plop me on your counter, or if you're driving, put me somewhere safe. Listen to me on your break or kick your feet up. It won't be too long, but I just wanted to share this information with you because it would be helpful for anybody who's interested in opening their very own event space in any state. Number one, I'm going to talk about three parts that are really important. Again, I might split this up into like a different series because there is a lot of information that we can cover. First point is we're going to talk about getting started, identifying your purpose. So for me, I came up with this idea end of 2018. I was going through a divorce. I wasn't able to leave my small children at the time at home for me to physically go out and work. So I already had that entrepreneur brain. I always had side hustles growing up. So I always had the mentality of figuring it out with where I was at. So I was watching a couple videos. I was taking some online classes about business, just like stuff about entrepreneurship, business credit and stuff like that. And I came across a gentleman called Nehemiah Davis, and he was talking very briefly about opening an event space. Now, I never bought any of his products. I never bought anything that he was selling at the time, but he was really awesome in what he was saying about he was giving a lot of information about the profit and about how simple it was to open an event space. It was a lot easier than I thought. So I started thinking about it and praying about it. And as I did pray about it, I kind of just got the green light personally for me to start it, because I figured if I was going to make some money, I wanted to do it where I can do something that I really enjoy doing. I want to go to work feeling like I'm excited to go to work. I also love thinking outside the box when it comes to business. So I just immediately got to work. So the first thing is I kind of identified the purpose. For me, I wanted to do something multi-use. So I didn't want it to just be one thing where it had to be a specific type of person or group or persons to book this event space. I wanted it to be multi-purpose. I wanted people to use it for community building, for personal classes, for their businesses, for their personal lives, baby showers, weddings, engagement parties, whatever the case may be. I thought the more diverse, the better, because that way I'll be able to have a wide range of options of people who will want to use the event space. So getting started for me, once I identified that I wanted it to be multi-purpose, I kind of just started to figure out my budget and look around my area to see what I could really afford. Because again, at the time I was going through a divorce. I was not about to look for some 10,000 square foot building. I wanted to look for something small because at the end of the day, I had babies, right? I've had baby showers, I've gone to parties. A lot of the places that I went to, like restaurants or event spaces, they were not that huge. They were about 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 square feet. So I was kind of looking for spaces like that because something that I could manage. Again, I'm by myself doing this with my 3 small children, and something that was close to home because I did not want to, again, be too far away from my kids when I had to leave and do work. So ironically, I found something that was literally 6 minutes away from my house. I was driving around town trying to figure out the best location. And that's the thing that you're gonna do when you're getting started as well, is just kind of seeing where your competition lies, like seeing if there's other event spaces in the area, and you want a lot of foot traffic. So one day I was actually driving around and I went to do my nails at this I always go do my nails there all the time, but the only difference is I looked to the left and there was a vacant spot next to the nail salon. And I was like, oh, that's so weird, like maybe 2 doors down. And I was like, I don't even think I've ever noticed what was there before, but I think it was like a hardware store or something like that. So I decided to kind of inquire about it. I remember asking the nail people like, oh, is that space empty? They said, yeah, it's been empty for some time. And I remember seeing the sign outside for contact now if you're interested in renting the space. So I was like, all right, it can't hurt to just ask the question, right? So I call that number. I didn't get anything for about 30 days, about a month. And I thought it was a dead end. I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna keep looking. Eventually, I did get a response after a month, and the gentleman said that it was still available. Would I like to come see it? So I said, of course. So I went in there. It was about 900 square feet, so it wasn't that big. Think of a one bedroom, like New York apartment. Think about it like that. It wasn't big at all. But the great thing is it was wide open. There weren't a lot of walls. There wasn't that much work to do. I remember it was a very ugly yellow color. There was some gray carpets there. But I knew in my mind, I could see the concept. I can see when it's all cleaned up and painted and floors torn up that it was gonna be beautiful. So he gave me the price. I think it was about, again, it's 2019, we're in 2024 now. I think it was about $1,700 or maybe $1,800. I remember talking him down a little bit. So I also did not get a realtor. I spoke to the owner. I spoke to the owner directly. So I did use my mom. My mom had a long-standing business for a while, and she was great at negotiating. I did ask her, like, hey, how do I negotiate this? So we did go back and forth a little bit, and finally he gave me a price. He asked me about my concept, and I told him exactly what I wanted to do. So when you're getting started, being forthcoming about exactly what you want to do is very, very important, because you don't want any surprises. You want your landlord to feel like, oh man, you know what? This is not what we agreed to. So I told him I wanted to rent it out for event spaces and have my own events there. I told him I was going to be an event coordinator, and I was going to just make sure that, we are having events in the community, and this is going to be a meeting space for that. So he was cool with that. And then he was good with the price. I think he ended up only taking like $100 off, but hey, it was a negotiation, and I was happy about that, especially, again, with not having enough money. We're not having a lot of money to open this up. So he asked for 2 months rent up ahead, and I said, okay, cool, let me think about this. Give me about like 2 weeks to kind of get myself together and figure this out. So that's how that happened. And thankfully it all aligned. People would say like the stars were aligning. It was God. Thankfully everything kind of worked out, and it was 6 minutes away. It was a great location, great foot traffic. But yeah, when you're getting started, just look for a great location that has good parking. That space had, like, because it was multi-use for the entire, it was like a mini mall. It had like hundreds and hundreds of parking, and especially at night, it was empty because all the other businesses would close at like 4 or 5 o'clock. My business was open all day. It could be open from 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. So it was great. I always had parking. So these are the things that you want to look for: parking, great location, safe neighborhood, not too many houses around. We did have apartments that were across the street, but they were further enough that it wouldn't be too loud if we had like a indoor-outdoor event. So what else did we look for? We looked for parking, we looked for space, we looked for foot traffic. We got the concept down. So that is number one in getting started. Number two thing that we're going to talk about is the legal foundation. So number two is the legal foundations. Okay, this is really, really important. So as soon as he gave me the green light and we negotiated, he was like, all right, cool, this is what you need. At that time, I had only had my EIN. I did have my LLC, but I didn't have like my business bank account or anything like that. Everything was going through my personal. So I quickly opened up a business bank account. But one thing I would say for your LLC is to use a legal service. LLCs are no joke. They're a lot to kind of do. You can do it yourself, of course, according to your state. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not too expensive. It's about under $200 to get started. But one thing I would recommend, and I had like the advantage, and my brother had a long-standing like 20-year business, and he still does till this day, in legal services where they can actually help you start your LLC, get your EIN, get everything in order, make sure that it's being filed properly by the state. So I'm going to leave his information here down below in the description for free. You can literally have a consult with him. Tell him his sister made a YouTube video about getting started with an LLC, and he will give you all of the information you need. And get this, it's only like $60 a month to continue getting coverage and protection for your business. So if anything were to happen in your business, someone tried to sue you, someone didn't like the contract, whatever the case may be, you will always have a lawyer at your fingertips if you need them to talk to or to speak on the situation. Because again, when you're running a business, you want to make sure you have all your legal foundation in place, because you don't want no drama. I did not want no smoke, nothing. I wanted to make sure that I was covered. So I paid for that legal fee. I got my LLC. I already had that. And I just made sure that I was covered. So again, I'm going to leave that information there. That is like really, really important. Like, I know that we're on number 2, but that should be number 1. Really important to get your legal foundation placed and set for your business. So I had my LLC, opened up a business bank account. I was working on my business credit at the time as well. I was able to get a little bit of help business-wise. I had money saved on top of like the business credit, so I kind of combined that to get started myself. Right now, I'm like at a grade B. I'm trying to get to a grade A in my business credit. I'm gonna try to make a separate video about that too, about how to build business credit. But there's plenty of amazing resources on YouTube that you can find regarding that I am not privy to myself, that I'm still researching myself, but that is what I use. I use my business credit under my LLC, and I had a little bit of savings. So that's how I got started financially. So another thing in the portion of it, you want to make sure that you're doing everything right according to your state. Now, in New York, they had different laws. For example, if you want to serve alcohol in your event space, at that time in 2019, you were allowed to do so, but you weren't allowed to sell it. So for example, you can have it complimentary. Let's say you're having a networking event. You could not have a bartender there taking actual money, paying for alcohol to drink it. It would only be tips. It would only be complimentary to your event. That was just New York's law. Now in Florida, where I'm at now, or if you're in Colorado, if you're in Texas, it could be totally different. But at that time, it was totally, that was what their legal, alcohol licenses was. Or you can get obviously you can get an alcohol license. At the time, I didn't want to do that. I had nothing. Those were expensive. It was like over like $4,000. I wasn't interested in doing that. I didn't even want alcohol in my space, really, honestly. And we barely had a lot of events that did have alcohol. Some of the cultured events that we had paired with food, sometimes there would be, we had an engagement party, they had alcohol there. So it was totally fine. Again, it was just complimentary. We did not have any selling there. So just make sure you do your due diligence to look up according to your state what the legal foundations and the findings need to be for you to have alcohol or other items in your space. Another thing that I would say to get is to get property insurance. That is something that could be literally $10 to $20 a month, not that much money. So just make sure that you have the renter's insurance, liability insurance, in case somebody gets hurt, in case somebody, something happens within the space and you're not there. You just want to make sure that you have yourself covered. But that's all I have for the legal portion of it. It wasn't that much to do, but I just made sure that I had my ducks in a row. And again, I knew the things to ask for because my mom already had a business. My brother's a business owner. My brothers are business owners. So it wasn't too bad at all for the legal portion of it. The third thing that I want to talk about today is my grand opening. This is my favorite part. My grand opening was free. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, how was it free? Yeah, it was free. I didn't pay anything. Actually, I probably paid for I won't lie. I think I paid just for a DJ because I wanted music there. But the reason it was free is because I did a lot of collaboration, a lot of networking. So at that time, we didn't have Reels. I don't even think we had TikTok back then, right? TikTok came out like 2020, 2021, I don't know. Either way, I had Facebook and Instagram. Those were the only two platforms that I was using. As soon as I got my keys, as soon as I started working on the construction and all that stuff, I knew that was like March, April. He gave me a free month. I started to have to pay rent by like May. I knew I had to get the ball rolling. So I wanted to do a very big, fun grand opening. So the idea that I had was, well, I need to contact the vendors that I want to work with in the future. I'm going to need catering if people need food. I'm going to need chairs and tables if I want people to sit down, if it's a sit down event. I'm going to need a cleanup service. I'm going to need a cake, a baker, if somebody wants to have a cake for their event. So all these things I started to list of the different needs, because it's multi-purpose, the different needs that people may want in renting their event space, and I collaborated with people and services who were already established. So I made a post on Facebook and Instagram. I did a lot of anticipation countdown, 45 days till we open. This is a new business in this space in Long Island. This was in North Babylon at the time. This is what we're doing. This is what we're about. Every single day I had a countdown. I was building anticipation. So I posted on my Facebook and my Instagram, and I said, hey, I need a list of the best vendors that you guys have. I need tables, I need chairs, I need a bounce house, I need a DJ, I need everything. Like, I listed all that stuff, and people started attacking me with different people. So once I got all that research, I collected all that information, I contacted those vendors. I said, hey, I am a Black woman-owned business. I am opening an amazing concept here in North Babylon on this date, and I would love for you to be a part, to share your services and showcase your services. And please let me know how I can support you the day of the event. So we had back and forth. I said, hey, if you want to donate a cake, bring your cards. bring yourself, talk to the people about your cake business, stuff like that. Tables and chairs, beautiful tables and chairs. I think I used Lap of Luxury. They were based in Brooklyn, but they delivered their chairs and tables for free, just for the setup. I had an event coordinator that I met, Melissa. She was amazing. She brought all the decorations because this is what she does. This is her services. So I had all these vendors come. They set up all their stuff. They had their business cards ready. They had little, gift bags ready for people who wanted to interact with them, because at the end of the day, if they didn't want to use it for the event space, they could use it for their personal use too. And that's a win-win for myself, and that's a win for them. So everything was free. I got a bounce house for free because we had a back section that was able to be used when there was no parking there at that time. They donated their services. What else? We had so much. It was so much fun. So we had face painters. We had, because some kids may want to have like birthday parties there, stuff like that. So anything that you can think of, we contacted them and we collaborated with them. And let me tell you, it was beautiful because not only did I collaborate with them on the services, they were telling people about the event space, because who doesn't need an event space for birthdays, for parties, for meetings, for business meetings, for co-working, for networking. The list can go on. And I'm going to provide a list too in my description for free of different things and different concepts for multi-purpose use in an event space that you can use as well. So it was a beautiful grand opening. Word of mouth on social media, the vendors were telling people, I was telling people, those people were telling people, and it ended up being a grand slam. So everything was free. I think I only had to pay for the DJ and my outfit, and it was just so fun. I sent the vendors a breakdown of the day of the event, of how it was going to look like, how long they wanted to stay. And again, I'll link that too, as well as what I sent them. Thankfully, I was a self-taught web designer, so I already knew how to make my own website for my own booking. So I already had that in place. I didn't have to pay anybody for that. So it was beautiful. The day we opened, August 19, 2019, and we had over 150 people come out and have fun. They got to view the space. We had raffles. People were booking for future dates and leaving deposits that day. So I made money my very, very first day in business, and it was just beautiful, okay? It was amazing. So that's how you have a free grand opening. I'm going to leave a free document in the description of how you can have your free grand opening, just like kind of step by step, just so that you can have it for yourself if that's something that you're interested in. But yeah, those are the three points I wanted to touch, because a lot of people had so many questions, and there's still so many questions to answer. And lastly, the question that people want to know is, what happened to OmSpace? That was the name of my business, OmSpace, OMM, O'Neill, Marie, and Madison. OmSpace shut down. We had to shut it down. COVID hit. Yes, March of 2020. So we were doing great. We opened August, September, October, November, December. I had events 7 days a week. It was to the point where I had to start asking my little brother, who was I think 17 at the time, to help me with the kids or help me to open. Or he was like turning 18. It was crazy because he was starting to drive. Like he would have to help me with cleaning. It was getting really, really busy. But March 2020 came and we had to close, and thankfully we did have a little bit of a rent freeze after we kind of figured that we weren't allowed to open anymore. The landlord did give the entire place a rent freeze for about 2 months, and then before you know it, my lease was coming up, because I signed a 1-year lease. It was going to be like year to year in August of 2020. And unfortunately, my mom passed away June 2020. So mentally and emotionally, I just could not handle it. COVID happened, I could not make any money, and then my mom passed away, and I needed some time to take care of myself. And then I eventually moved to Florida in 2021. So I shut down my business. I did not reopen in New York, and I decided and I prayed and said, hey, I'm gonna open up in Florida when I figure out that this is where I wanna be long term. And listen, it's been 4 years, and almost 4 years, and I'm loving where I'm at now. And I think this is permanently home, and I'm feeling in my heart to open up OmSpace again. So this is where I'm at in my journey. I'm going to reopen when, I don't know, but you guys are gonna follow me along for that journey. And I think it's gonna be beautiful. That was the most fun time of my life. That was the most purposeful time. I got to make beautiful connections with the community. I got to work on my creativity as an entrepreneur. I got to do something big within my community that was helpful to other people. So it was literally the best time of my life, and I can't wait to do it again. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my story, and hopefully that helped you and inspired you, whether you have an event space, want to open an event space, had an event space, and you want to reopen, listen, the world is yours. You can absolutely do it. I am going to talk about different videos and things and do's and don'ts that I would do differently going forward. Like, I would have a clause, like if there is a pandemic ever again, that I would like a rent freeze up until X amount of time and not to pay, like all these different things, do's and don'ts. But you live and you learn. That's the beautiful part of it, is learning through the process. So I am not scared to reopen again. I'm just excited and full of like the good nerves, and I know that it's going to be a great thing when I do it again. I am happy to help and you can ask any questions below in the comments that you want answered. I'll make a video about it. I did create a little guide. You won't believe the price. It's only $10 if you want to just have that guide for yourself, because I have this whole concept. I don't know if it's just my creative brain that the internet's going to explode one day and we're not going to have these videos. So at least you'll have the documents for yourself that you can have and print off and just have for yourself at any time. But no, that's not realistic. But listen, you watch enough movies, you'll believe anything that you see. But yeah, I made a guide. It's about $10 and it's amazing. It's going to go step by step about the do's and don'ts, the grand opening, how to have a free grand opening, how I got started, all that fun stuff. So click the link in my bio to get that. And if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. But I'm excited, y'all. This was a fun video to make because I just wanted to inform everybody about how I did it. From all the comments I got on Facebook and Instagram, it was such a beautiful thing to see all the support, and even the people, like people that I served, you know, people that came to my space and had their baby showers and have their babies now, or people who got married, or people who did different community events there who are like thriving in their business. Like, it was so fun to reminisce about all that. So again, thank you guys for watching and hearing my story. I pray that your story is even more beautiful. Listen, don't forget that you can do anything that you put your heart to. I believe in you, and I'm here to support you in any way that I can. Meet me back here for some more videos and updates. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with somebody who may need it. And again, leave your questions and comments below and I'm happy to answer. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.